Hey everyone! Today we are going to talk about the things we wish we'd known before we went to Disneyland Paris. These are important if you are new to Disneyland Paris, or if you have been to Disneyland Paris before and you are going back, or if you are a real fan. Believe me, there will be stuff here for you, so let's get started. First up, there are alternative places to watch the fireworks and evening shows. You do not have to stake out your spot for hours and hours to see the fireworks or shows. When you are there 10 minutes before the show, it will be more than enough. A good hidden place to watch the show in a more uncrowded area is right before the entrance of Frontierland. Okay, the next big thing we wish we would have known before we went to Disneyland Paris is to book a character meal, so you don't have to wait in line to meet the characters. If you have kiddos who are walking around with their autograph books and really want those autographs, you can go into the restaurants and meet those characters. You have to eat anyway, so why not do it this way, so you make sure you get to see multiple characters at once. Basically, you're probably cutting out 20, 40, 60, or 80 minutes of waiting in line time if you go to a character restaurant, because you're always going to meet 4 characters at once, so it's a pretty good deal. We always recommend going to character meals if there's a particular character your kid really wants to meet. The Plaza Garden Restaurant and Auberge de Saint-Tryon are my favorites. Another option is at Inventions at the Disneyland Hotel. Next up, you definitely want to know that you can book dining reservations ahead of time. You definitely want to book your dining reservations ahead of time. No matter where you're staying, you can always book 60 days in advance. All these bookings can be done through the My Disney Experience app, which we highly recommend that you download. You can do everything on there. You can cancel, you can change reservations, you can book your Premier Access passes. It's an awesome little handy app, so definitely go and download that. Do all of your work through there, so you don't have to sit and wait on hold to get onto the phone lines. Another thing that we really think you should know before you go to Disneyland Paris is to bring a stroller or a wheelchair. If you're worried about fatigue or if you've got young kids, a lot of people will recommend that you bring a stroller. Even past the age you would normally use a stroller. So, for example, if your kid is 5 or 6, you may still think to bring a stroller. There is a lot of walking. Disneyland Paris is huge, and there is a lot of ground to cover, usually 16,000 to 20,000 steps a day for a lot of people. So those strollers really come in handy. And if you have anybody who has any mobility concerns at all, you'll want to consider bringing a wheelchair for them. And of course, you can rent a stroller or wheelchairs right in the parks. We definitely want to let you know that counter service food can be really good. So don't think that you're stuck with just burgers, hot dogs, and chicken nuggets in every single counter service restaurant. Some of our favorite eats in Disneyland Paris are from counter service restaurants, and I definitely would not qualify them as quote-unquote fast food. There are some really hidden gems, like Cowboy Cookout Barbecue, Earl of Sandwich, or the Fuente del Oro restaurant. Another tip you'll need to know before going to Disneyland Paris is be there at opening time. Make sure you get there right at the beginning, because what's going to happen is if you get there right at the beginning, you will be able to ride a lot of rides with no lines. So we're talking Peter Pan, Ratatouille, Crush Coaster, Buzz Lightyear. And all of those rides you'll be able to get to with very short lines at the beginning, so you don't have to wait a long time for those very popular rides. And remember, sometimes they open a few minutes early, like 10 or 15 minutes early, so you may even want to show up a bit earlier than the posted opening time. This way you can ride some of those rides, often a couple of times through before the lines start getting long. Another trick to avoid waiting in line for free is to go on the rides in magic hours if you stay at a Disneyland hotel, during the parades, or during the end show. Okay, next up, standing in lines is really exhausting. So you definitely want to book some Premier Access passes for those rides if you can. If you're stuck standing in some of those 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour lines, depending on the ride, it can get kind of tiring. So do your research and make sure you know which rides have the longest lines, and you know which rides you want to get in and ride. The most popular rides are going to fill up very quickly, and those lines are going to get really long really fast. Because believe it or not, a lot of people don't even know about the Premier Access system, and they're all just going to be standing in those lines. Alright, the next thing that we want to share is that most popular restaurants aren't necessarily the best restaurants. And in fact, I would say that a lot of the times they are not the best restaurants. Like Albert de Saint-Prion, which we have mentioned earlier in this video, can be too fancy for you and your kids. But if you are there just for the characters, this is not a big problem. I would only really recommend dining there for breakfast. Plaza Garden is also offering some strange options, and it's almost impossible to create a full meal with the choices available. The food is of decent quality, but there are better buffet options within the park that are often less busy. So, thank you for watching. We really appreciate you. Be sure to let us know in the comments what your best tips are and the things you wish you would have known before you went to Disneyland Paris, because a lot of people are really going to benefit from your notes in the comments. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to our channel. We are going to be doing a lot of kinds of these videos, and you will get a lot of tips and tricks about Disneyland Paris. All right, thanks again for watching. We'll see you real soon.